Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I've been out of action for a while because I was moving house. Now I'm back in action, and this time we start with a review. It's the Chieftain Mk10 tank in 1/35th scale from Meng. It's the Tyrannosaurus series TS051. The description here says the breakdown of steel blue composite armor follows its installation on the real vehicle. The gun magnet cover and gun barrel thermal sleeves are designed by digital sculpting. The infrared searchlight has internal construction. The horizontal spring suspension and shock absorbers are accurately replicated. The kits include easy to assemble single pin workable tracks. All crew hatches can be built open or closed. Clear lights observation ports and optical sight ports are included. Fine photo etch parts are included, and the kit can be finished in two paint schemes. And on the side of the box, we have the front and the back profile and a list of recommended paints. At the end, we have the illustration and also the name of the kit. While the other side, we have the side profile of the tank and a short description of the tank and the kit. And this end is the same as the other end with the illustration and the title of the kits. Okay, now let's open the box. The first item that greets you is a leaflet announcing a monthly competition organized by Meng. And to get all the details, there's a QR code in there where you can scan with your device, which will bring you to a website with all the information. Then we come to the actual content of the kits. There are quite a number of sprues, and we will look at them one by one later. Here are two large sprue filled with wheels and the suspension bogie. And this sprue contains of the bottom of the turret and also the gun barrel. Then we come to this bag of duplicate sprues, contain mainly of the salvage containers and some other detail parts. This sprue contains of the searchlight housing and also the storage racks. And a pack of two sprues of pins for the individual track lengths. And another sprue contains all detail parts for the turrets. And here is the main turret. And a pack of individual track lengths. And the main hull, upper and lower hull, with some metal parts. And finally, we have the clear sprue, and then the other detailing parts for the turrets and the hulls, and the photo etch parts and the decal, and finally the instruction and some leaflets about the tank. Now let's look at them closely one by one. First of all, we have some information leaflets about the tank. It's in many languages, and the type is quite large, but the design is kind of so-so. And that's a drawing of the tank indicate all the features of the tank. Unfortunately, the other side is upside down, so it's kind of difficult to read. All in all, it's nice information to have. Now let's look at the instruction. As usual, it starts with some introduction on how to build a kit. some recommended tools, and also some warnings. Then we start with building the running gear, mainly the wheels, on page 1. And then we assemble the suspension bogies. This looks like a very complicated bogies, and it's probably workable suspension. It lasts till step 8. And then in step 9 and 10, we start building some of the detail parts on the bottom of the hood. And then next is the addition of detailing parts on the upper hood, such as the headlights and the driver's hatch and other details. And then step 15 is the assembly of some photo etch parts, mainly the wire meshes. And 16 is some detailing of parts. 17 is the assembly of the storage boxes. And then next is the assembly of the rear of the hood and the exhaust system. And then 23 is adding the details onto the side fenders. 24 is the other side of the side fenders, and then install it onto the main hood. And then assembly of the running gear and the wheels. And then it's the assembly of the track links, and it used a jig and pin system, which look kind of simple. And then we have the installation of the side armor plate. Then we have the assembly of the turret, the up armor, the vision ports, and the smoke grenade, and other detail parts. And then we come to the assembly of the searchlight housing. And you can see the door of the searchlight can be assembled, open and close. Then we come to the hatches and some other, storages and antennas and other detail parts. The commander's cupola, and then the small searchlight on the cupola, and then installation of the cupola onto the turret, and then the rear of the turret, some storage box, and also the storage rack, and then the machine gun, and finally the gun barrel, and then complete the tank. And then we have a list of sprues and parts, and finally the two camouflage schemes. One is the urban camouflage, the other one is the green and the dark green, almost black camouflage. And it ends with a list of recommended paints and their equivalents of other brands. Now we can look at the parts more closely. First of all, let's look at the hood. It contains some poly caps, and then some metal spring for the suspension, and upper and lower hood, of course. And looking at it, the injection is very nice and sharp. The detail are very crisp, and there is minimal of flash. And you can see the details are very sharp and clear. On the side of the hull, you can see that all the welding seam marks are faithfully reproduced. some painting really bring out the detail very nicely. And that's the main hood. Then let's look at the main turret. Again, the details are very crisp and sharp, and no sink mark, and there's minimal of flash. Then we come to the sprue E, which mainly composed of the bottom of the turret and the up armor part and some of the detailing parts, and then the gun barrel. The details are nice. And for the magnet cover, it comes in a soft plastic parts. And then we look at the sprue D, which compose of some of the detailing parts on the main hull, the rear of the tank, and also the some of the guards for the lights and the hedges. Again, no flash at all. The sink marks are all on the, or not sink mark, the injection marks are all on the back of the parts, so they won't be seen once assembled. And the next is the clear sprue K. It contains the jig for the track links, and all the clear parts are nicely protected by a plastic wrap. I'm not going to open it. It looks sharp and clear. And then we come to the back that contains sprue M and F. Sprue M contains mainly of all the pins that used to assemble the track. And you can see the injection is very clean and sharp. So the assembly of the track should be quite straightforward. Then sprue F contains of some of the hatches cover, the smoke grenade launcher, and also some other parts such as the commander's coppers, hatches of the commander's coupler, and some other parts such as the small searchlights and the machine guns, and other very small parts. And next is two identical sprue B, which contains mainly the storage boxes, fire extinguishers, and some grab handles and exhaust pipes. Again, all the ejection marks are on the back of the parts, very nicely placed. And then sprue H contains the storage rack and also the searchlight housing. And we can see the storage rack are very thin, and so it will look very nice with correct scale thickness, I think. And then two huge sprue A, which contains all details of the running gear, such as the suspension bogies and also the running wheels and the rubber rim of the wheels are molded separately, so painting of them is made much easier. No masks is needed to paint them. And the sprockets is nicely done too. Again, on the back of the injection, where the ejection marks are nicely placed. And then we come to sprue C, which contains mainly the fenders and also some other detail parts that goes onto the fenders. The side armor plates and also the gear housing for the sprockets, and the towing cables, and a couple of parts that's part of the boogies. Again, the details are very nicely molded, crisp and clean. Then we come to the back of individual track links. You can see the links are nicely molded. There's no sing mark, nor is there any injection mark on the link itself. So all we need to do is cut them out and put them on the jig. And then finally we have the photo edge part. The photo edge very nicely done. And it's protected by a plastic sticker on both sides of the fret. The meshes are very dense and clear and clean. This is a very good piece of photo edge. Lastly, we have the decal. The registration is good and the white is very solid. And here we go. It's the new Chieftain Mk10 tank from Meng. It's a very nice kit, and I think it can build into a very nice replica of the tank straight out from the box. And once again, I have to thank Hobby Easy to supply me with the sample for review. I've moved to a very strategic location from now on and be able to provide you with more reviews of the new products for scale modeling. So stay tuned. Once again, thank you for watching. Until next time, bye bye.